Hi everybody, I'm Anna Kachikid, and this is the Anna Report, where we talk dating and relationships, and I give you my uncensored advice. So, welcome to the first episode of 2018. Happy New Year. This week's topic, I thought, what a great topic, social media etiquette, we're all gonna be into it. And then I started doing my research and I realized, holy shit, we are all divided on this topic. Like, everyone has their own opinions on social media etiquette when it comes to dating and relationships and the boundaries and what's okay, what's not okay. So I'm really excited because I want to hear your opinions. This topic, I'm gonna dive right into it. A lot of young couples, especially, the problems that they're having is how they are portrayed online. 45% of millennials have said that social media has had an impact on their relationship. I'm trying to avoid stats and numbers during the lives, but I just thought that was such an impactful number. Like, that is crazy, and that number is only gonna grow, and it's growing. With that said, it was funny because when I started doing this, I'm like, okay, this is what I think of social media and relationships, and these are the boundaries, and this is what I think. And then I started looking into it and I realized, oh my God, everyone has a very different opinion, and it's very black and white. There's no like in between, I feel like. So the first one was social media doesn't ruin relationships, acting single on it does. I think that's a BS statement, in my opinion. Saying social media doesn't ruin relationships, acting single on it does. I mean, if you're acting single in life, except when your significant other is next to you. It doesn't mean that you're only acting single on social media. What do you guys think of that statement? Because I tossed that one out. I was like, bullshit. Like, that is stupid to think that. Dig on This says it's BS. Okay, Hector says yes. All right, the next one was, if your man or woman doesn't speak of you on his or her social media, you aren't his only one. Really? So if I don't publicize my man on social media, I don't love him? That's bullshit. I call that bullshit. That's BS. Okay, everyone's calling that bullshit too. Tell me you love me on Instagram so everyone knows how much you love me. This is actually very common amongst women. I think a lot of men hear a lot of their women say, why won't you talk about me on your social media? That means you don't love me. Bob over there is always posting about his girlfriend, so you must not love me enough. Bullshit. Again. It's getting me all hyped up. Oh, hell no, that's a bonkers. Exactly, I call that bullshit as well. Oh, you know what else? I don't know if it's just me. It can't just be me. When I see couples who are constantly posting about how much they love each other on social media, I immediately know that there's something wrong in their relationship. Like, I just, like, a natural reaction. I'm like, he fucked up last night, so now he has to write about how much he loves her, or vice versa. Like, I'm just like, why are you guys what is this? Again, my opinion, I want to hear what you have to say. Do you also, when you see a man or a woman gushing over their partner on social media, do you think like, oh, there must be something wrong with them? Must be something wrong. Warren says, Anna, men don't want to be a secret. If you can post about your BFF, you can do the same regarding a boyfriend. I have a lot to say about that, Warren. Let's keep on going. Mike says, I ignore those types of posts. Yeah, I mean, like, you shouldn't let it, like, influence your life, but people begin to think, like, am I supposed to do that for my man? If, does he feel not loved because I don't post about him? The other thing is, the best sign of a healthy relationship is no sign of it on social media. Again, I call that bullshit. Because if you are denying being in a relationship, whether that's on social media or anywhere else, then that's not a healthy relationship, because you're keeping your partner a secret. And it shouldn't be a secret if you are in an not in an open relationship, but like if you're in a healthy, loving relationship. So I call that statement BS too, that the best sign of a healthy relationship is no sign of it on social media. It's like, come on. Don't be married and living a single life on Instagram. Like, that's not normal either. I mean, what I'm saying is, if you go, let's say, to a group dinner with a bunch of people and you crop your husband out, like, what is that? That's not normal either, right? But if you only post pictures of you and your significant other about how much you love each other, that is extreme too. Ralph says, if your status is relationship with that person, but do you really have to post a lot? Isn't it too much? Yeah, like, don't post too much, Leland said, do what comes natural to you as a couple. Yes, I'm actually gonna get to that. What the process, like, it's all about the boundaries that you need to set. Dave says, Ryan Reynolds crops his wife. That actually, Ryan Reynolds and what's his wife's name? I know her character name from Gossip Girl. Now they have a healthy social media relationship where they just play with each other on social media all the time, and it's in a very healthy banter. It's fun. You can tell that I've talked about it, that what's okay for them, what's not, and they're both okay with it. And it's like, it's so unfortunate, because remember, like, back in the days, Blake Lively, thank you. As I was saying, do you remember, like, back in the days, after sex, the guy or the girl, right, would light up a cigarette, and in movies, it was, like, so hot, right? Now it's not hot anymore. But now, what people do is, like, they roll over and they're just, like, on Instagram. How romantic is that? Put the fucking phone down, dude. Like, what's worse, the cigarette or Instagram? That's my other question. Honestly, at least the cigarette's hot. Yeah, I don't know what's worse. I feel like Instagram is worse, because you become so detached from the other person. Versus a cigarette, you maybe might enjoy a cigarette together. I don't know. It's like a moment of silence. Cigarette or Instagram? And now I want to get into is the boundaries, right? So first and foremost, dates. When you go on a first date, okay, and you are socially active, me, right? I'm socially active, but you have to be mindful of how the other person lives their life. Do they post on social media? Do they not? Don't go on a first date posting them on Insta stories, because what if they are a private person? Or what if, God forbid, they're married and they're lying to you and coming on a date with you because their relationship sucks and they're ready to cheat, and you post them on your social media before finding out that you're out with a married person. So first dates, do not post anything of that person ever. And if you must, take a picture of the food. Don't tag them. Do not include them in your Insta stories, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. Stay away. Hector says, but why should I be so detached? I don't get that. Because people are so consumed, it's like, I don't know if I just had the best sex of my life. I need to go check if Bob over there, what he's doing, because, you know, he's got a bunch of followers, so he must live a better life than I do. So I gotta go make sure what Bob is up to. And then we feel bad about our lives. You know, it's not healthy. Like, be in the moment for a second. Ralph says, because I didn't post much in my last relationship, you know, I was always having to hear it from her. And that comes down to setting the boundaries and talking about it. All right, so which brings me to boundaries now, which is what Leland earlier was mentioning, and Ralph, you mentioned that as well, was what sort of boundaries would you set with someone that you really like in real life, right? Like, what are some real life boundaries? Hey, I really like you, and I'm not gonna be seeing other people, and then the other person says, I'm not, right? So these are boundaries that you're setting with the other person. Like, these are real world boundaries. Well, we should have the same common sense with social media. So for example, a great example that I thought of was your significant other comments on on his or her ex's photo, and the ex replies back with, why, thank you. That is equivalent to you guys are out and your significant other sees their ex and says, you know, that dress looks really good on you. So for example, you're the guy and you see your ex and you're with your new girl and you say, oh, that dress looks really good on you. And she says, why, thank you. How is that okay? That's flirting. That's straight up flirting. But, if you run into your ex and you say to your ex, hey, I heard your father passed away. I'm really sorry for your loss. And she replies back with, thanks, I appreciate it. That's not flirting. That's common courtesy. So you need to use the same real life boundaries, common sense, that you would in real life on social media. Do you see the difference? Ralph says, I don't even agree with having exes on social media. Again, you can't, that could be your boundary, Ralph, but I don't think that you can say to someone, I don't want you to be friends with your exes on social media, because you're the new person coming in. You don't know what kind of a relationship that person has with their ex. This could be an ex-boyfriend from when they were like in high school, right? That 2 decades have gone by and they're real good friends. They're married and moved on and chill, all that stuff at this point, right? So it's like, who are you to step in and control? Like, that's almost pushing the borderline of, I don't want you to have social media, period, because now you're mine. Like, that's an extreme boundary. Like, there's a normal boundary and then there's like, what the fuck? So before you say to someone, I don't want you to be friends with your ex on social media, you have to, again, use real world common sense. And that is, did this person just break up with them and are they still trying to get back with them? Like, you know what I mean? Like, ask questions before you say, no, nope. Like, be okay with talking about it. Like, there's nothing wrong with you asking questions in a non-judgmental tone. Hector says, Anna, I learned very painfully what you are exactly talking about. And you know what? You probably learned more than somebody else who hasn't learned that lesson yet. So it's totally fine that you went through a painful process to learn that. Oh, the other thing is, so I noticed that a lot of preteens, okay? These are very, very young children. What are preteens? 8 to 12? 9 to 12? 9 to 12. It's very common for preteens to delete their social media, delete photos, restart accounts, and I find that behavior very normal. I find that it's healthy almost, because they're growing and they're figuring out their voice and they're changing, and there are a lot of changes, major changes in their life, and they're figuring it out as they go. So it's okay to do that. But when people, like adults, are constantly deleting, reactivating, that to me is a clear sign of an unfulfilled adult, someone who's still trying to find their identity. So whether you are that person, you need to really like take a step back and like reassess, reevaluate everything in your life. And if you are fine in that department and come across a man or a woman with that sort of behavioral pattern, that's a red flag. Be on the lookout for something like that, because the social media behavior can say a lot about the person. So look out for those things. That to me is a bigger red flag than if you were to start dating a girl and you scroll through and you see her with her previous ex-boyfriend and then another ex-boyfriend. To me, it's almost like, well, yeah, she lived. She had a life before you. Surprise! She had a boyfriend. Like, of course she did. Like, and what, you want her to go delete her entire life? No. They went to a Dodgers game together. Like, so what? Big fucking whoop-de-doo. That is normal. That is healthy. To me, that is even, better than someone who you're just like, oh, like what, why is your last photo from 2014 and then it jumps to 2016? What happened? It's like you can tell that their 2 years of their life was just cut on social media. So what I'm saying is, moving forward, just be mindful of what you're posting so that you don't go back. And it's time consuming, man. Like, the older you get, like, you don't have time for that shit. Like, just think before you post. Ralph says, what about when a partner purposely tries to find dirt by seeing if you like any other female photos, even if it's just a friend, and they get mad? If it's a clear friend, why is it so bad? That is a boundary conversation that you have to have. Like, it's almost a necessity to have this conversation with your significant other. Ralph, actually, again, researchers actually found that the top reasons people say they use Facebook are to keep in touch with people and monitor people. That includes their partners. So those are the top 2 reasons, okay? To keep in touch and to monitor. That's insane. And, actually, this brings me to a good point, Ralph. You're actually on point with your questions. Research also shows that people who are constantly watching, looking for things, like what you said, like fishing. What did you say? You said, what about a partner purposely tries to find dirt? Okay, so if a partner is intentionally looking for dirt and looking for things to fight over, okay, that means that there's uncertainty in the relationship. You are not doing a good job in making her feel safe, okay? She is not secure in the relationship. There's a lot of uncertainties in the relationship. And it's your job to make her feel safe. Now, let's not throw all the blame on you guys. And let's also assume, we shouldn't assume, because when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. That's what my tennis coach used to always tell me when I used to say I assumed that she was gonna put the ball on that side of the court, so I ran over there. So let's not assume. Totally off topic, but just also look into it and make sure that she doesn't have a past history of a man who cheated on her, that she doesn't have some sort of like battling past history of demons or from a past relationship, because that then, if she hasn't recovered from that sort of damage that took place in her life in her previous relationship, and she's now moved on into a new relationship with you, which is a stupid fucking move, but people do it. She hasn't recovered, she's moved on. Now she's bringing on that uncertainty and the burden of her own insecurity into her new relationship with you. So maybe you do make her feel safe, maybe you don't, I don't know. But if you make her feel safe, she will not have a reason to look after your shit. And I personally know this. Like, I personally know this. Erica says, if your partner has that much time to check what pictures you're liking, I think your partner has trust issues, so anything will be dirt. Amen. There you go. with women, I think it comes from us not feeling safe. I think the safety is a huge factor in how men make us feel. I've experienced that. Huge red flag, Mike says. So the big question now, the big question is, how do you make social media work for you in your relationship? How do we do it? How do we do it? You talk about it. You talk about it, you set boundaries, and you approach it like any other fucking problem in your relationship, okay? So for example, when you get into a relationship, you set boundaries, right? You set boundaries. You make sure that if you are committed to her, she's committed to you. That's setting a boundary. You set boundaries like, hey, yo, you were flirting with that guy. That's flirting. No, I don't define that as flirting. What do you define as flirting, Utah? Okay, you set boundaries on what's flirting to each of you. Those are boundaries. So why wouldn't you set boundaries on social media? For example, okay? What are some boundaries? I think that it's a normal boundary to say, I don't want you to be on Tinder and Bumble anymore. Why do you need to be on Tinder or Bumble anymore? That's a boundary. Get it off your chest. I hear this all the time where people are like, you know, I saw that my friend saw my girlfriend on Bumble. Why? Why did your buddy see your girlfriend on Bumble? And why are you upset about it and not talking to her about it without yelling like I am? Like, why won't you just have a conversation and not don't use a judgmental tone? I think it's just a question of, hey, you're on Bumble and I don't want you to be on Bumble if we're together. And she might say, I don't want us to be together because I want to be on Bumble. In which case, good luck, girlfriend. Have fun on Bumble. Be realistic. Don't be a controlling asshole. Like, don't be like, well, I don't want you to have a public Instagram account. And she's like, I'm a blogger. And you want me to not have a public Instagram account? You are dating the wrong girl, right? Like, that's crazy. If that is so important to you, if you don't want any of your life on social media and you go on dating an influencer, you're dating the wrong girl. I follow so many influencers and bloggers whose husbands don't even have social media. But you can tell that they've talked about it. Like, you can tell that they've discussed this. The guy wants to be like, he just wants to. It's a verbal contract. When one person respects the other, it works. Like, there's this one girl that I follow, she's Brazilian, and she's married, and she's always posting Insta stories with other guys, but never her husband. And because that's how he likes it. He literally is her business manager, wants to be behind the camera, and he will videotape her with other dudes. Granted, the guys are all gay, but it's like, you know, it's like, it works for them. So you need to set your boundaries. Who are you and what do you want? But it's ridiculous to say, I want you to delete all your social accounts and restart a fresh account with my name included in it, with my birthday, and it's like, what Hector said, where's the individuality here, bro? Like, what happened? No. And I think what's really important is with social media is to recognize the difference between your private life and your public life. I think that a lot of people are having a really hard time doing that. Separated. And I think I can honestly say I personally do a really good job with that. When I'm experiencing a new experience or something where I'm like, I want to experience this and have a memory of it, I put my phone down. And I've had so many times in my life for years where people are like, Anna, you're not videotaping this? And I'm like, no. I'm living this. I'm living this, and I'm not videotaping it. And it's not because I don't want to share it with you guys. It's just that you have to balance your life, and it has to be healthy for you guys. And I personally, I do not like to talk about my personal life on my social media. Have I ever denied my relationship in the past? Never. I never said I was single, ever. But I never talked about him because he didn't like the public life, and I respected that, and it worked. So if I'm looking for someone who wants to be in the spotlight, who wants to be on and like have an equivalent, like where we just are on each other's social, you can find that person. It's what you were looking for. But wait, what did I write over here? Hold on, my notes are funny today. These are my notes. I'm gonna read it out loud, okay? I wrote, you must recognize the difference between your public and private lives. Meaning, just because she posted about how she can't live without you the night before doesn't mean that you can go shit on her the next day and not expect her to have a self-respect and walk out on your ass. It's so true. Yeah, so the bottom line is, social media is the stepping stone into a much deeper rooted issues in your relationship. So I don't think social media is the problem. I think if you have a problem, then social media is a stepping stone into your problem. So if you are insecure, you're gonna be insecure about what they post, what other people comment. If you are uncertain in your relationship, social media is going to be a stepping stone into you questioning your relationship. I don't think that social media is the issue. I think lack of communication is the issue. I think people's fear and inability to communicate these issues. And I also think it's people's inability to understand that the same common sense and life rules apply on social media as they do in real life. So if you wouldn't run into your ex and say, nice shirt, girl, then you shouldn't comment that either. If you know your ex is at a party, you wouldn't follow her into that party, so why would you follow her on social media? It's things like that. It's things like that. But it's not so black and white. I like that. I'm gonna end on that note, yo. Wait, hold on. Mike has a question. Does your boyfriend or girlfriend having a pic of themselves instead of both of you bother you? No! I don't want you to have a picture of me on your Instagram. No, because then you have to ask, hey babe, do you like this picture of you? Can I post it? And then it's like, oh no, send it to me, let me edit it, send it back to you. It's like, no, just keep me out of your social media accounts. Keep me out. And I will keep you out of mine. But that is my personal thing. That's not normal. That's not to say that's how you should do. But again, I'm just sharing my personal opinion. I don't want to bring social media into my relationship. No. Guys, that if you think of a brand, or if you are a brand owner and you want to cultivate this long-term relationship with the Anna Report, email us at askanna@theannareport.com, because we're looking for long-term brand partners, baby. All right? Mwah. Oh, yes! Share this. Go to my Facebook page and share this live now. Do it. I dare you. Do it for social media. Good night. Bye.